Hello, thank you for joining me for another edition of Puddle Glum's Music Collection. Today I'm going to go over some artwork. Some of these artists may be familiar to you, but there are some albums that you may not be familiar with. There are some artists here that I think are very good for album covers that haven't been mentioned a lot in the other videos I've seen for album cover art. But I'd like to start with this Neil Morris band, Similitude of a Dream. If you open it up for the gatefold, you may recognize this artist who's done some other album covers. You got to open it all up, this trifold here. But this is what's inside, if you can see it there. And this is actually Paul Whitehead. You may recognize his artwork from a lot of the early Genesis albums, like Foxtrot, all the other ones, from the early days of Genesis. And he's always done kind of a folk art type style, I thought. And this is kind of going with the story from the book that this was taken from. So this is a very good album. It's got Mike Portnoy, Neil Morris, Eric Gillette, great guitar player. It's the Similitude of a Dream by the Neil Morris Band. So that artwork is good, and he is a pretty popular artist for a lot of the Genesis stuff usually. Another person I have, this is Resurrection Band, Waiting to Reply. This is Janet Cameron. She mostly just worked on stuff for small independent bands like Resurrection Band and a few others. Her and Dick Randall did a lot of their album covers, but I thought all their album covers were good. This is from the 70s, as you can tell. Then we have Rodney Matthews, which is one of my favorite artists. He does all sorts of cover artwork for all sorts of different bands. This is one that's not as well known, probably Seventh Angel. This is Lament for the Weary. He did a couple Seventh Angel covers. There's another one that's really good that he did. But he does all sorts of artwork for a lot of different bands. But that's the one from Seventh Angel. Rodney Matthews, very good artist. And then we have a couple here. This is Sweet Comfort Band, which is kind of like a yacht rock band in the Christian music industry. Sweet Comfort Band had a few covers, but Eriksen, he did a lot of different artwork for different bands. But you might know him as a guy who does a lot of posters for the national parks. He does a lot of those national park posters that are very famous with the paintings. But he did, here's a couple of Sweet Comfort Bands. This is Breaking the Ice. If you open it up, you can see the boats breaking the ice, and underneath is a city. I thought that was kind of a cool thing there. And, you know, he did a lot of the Sweet Comfort Band covers. He did a lot of album covers in general, but I always liked his artwork. And, of course, next we have Roger Dean. Everybody knows Roger Dean. I'm just going to show a couple that... Osabisa, I think that's how you say it. One of my favorite bands, and I guess I should look up. I always call them Osabisa or Osabisa, Wayaya. The name of the album is Osabisa. The name of the band, I think, is Wayaya. I'm not completely positive. I can't quite remember right now for some reason. Sorry about that if I messed it up. You know, it means... But the band's name is Osabisa, and it's what. But this is a Roger Dean artwork. I'm probably totally messing up the names and all this stuff, but they got a few albums I really like. And great Roger Dean artwork there that you may not normally see. That band was kind of popular, but not huge. Then, of course, the Asia artwork. And, of course, we all know he did a lot of the Yes artwork and logos, etc. This is for Asia. The next artist we have here is Randy Rogers. Randy Rogers, you know, he's done the King's X artwork. Here's one of the King's X albums he did. He did Faith, Hope, and Love. He may have done a couple other ones. So that's King's X. It's their self-titled album. I have that King's X, then I have the King's X that doesn't have the big King's X above there. It just has the picture. But this is one of the collector ones. There's only so many made. But he also did Petra album covers. I don't know if he did do that. He did a lot of album covers like that, but then he also did Petra. This is their take with the boat as a guitar. Then, of course, they borrowed from Boston for a few of their albums with the guitar. That was a spaceship, kind of like Boston, and there we go. Hopefully I'm not getting glare on that stuff. And then, so that's Randy Rogers. Then we have Rick Griffin. Rick Griffin was known for a lot of the Grateful Dead album covers. Later on, he became a Christian, and he started doing for a lot of Christian artists. Rick Griffin was mostly known, though, in the 60s, late 70s for Grateful Dead, and just a lot of artwork back then. Then he did Daryl Mansfield here, Daryl Mansfield Band. This is Revelation. This is one of Daryl Mansfield's harder albums. He's usually very blues-based. This is blues-based, hard rock, or even gets into metal. Paul Gilbert plays on this, so you know there's some shredding on there. Then we have Kerry Livgren from Kansas. His solo album with his band AD, his first one with AD. That's another Rick Griffin right there. Alrighty. And then we have this gentleman, which I really liked his artwork, and I can't think of it right now. George Worth, I believe was his name. Yeah, I think it was George Worth. This is Glass Harp with Phil Keaggy. This is a best of album that they put out together with all the different Glass Harp albums from the guitarist Phil Keaggy, his first band. You can see he does like a pencil drawing thing. And he also did Archangel. If you don't know about this album, you got to find it. This is Archangel. A little bit of Middle Earth, Renaissance music, but it's combined with a little bit of prog. It's very good. It's heavy in spots. It's worshipful in spots. It's folky in spots. And then it's like, there's some heavy stuff on here too. It's just a really good album. If you ever find it, it came out in 1980. It's called Archangel. A-R-K. Angel. But that's some more good artwork there. Some great artwork. So those are some artists that I like that do album covers. And maybe some that you know very well that are some covers maybe you haven't seen before. So that's what I'm showing you today. I hope you have a good day. We'll see you next time on Puddle Glum's Music Collection. See ya. Take it away, Stevie.